Everyone. How are we? So excited to get started with this brand new to booked out training. Like we've got a few people still joining in. And I know where it's the middle of the day, a couple of people have said they weren't able to attend. So I'm just making sure I am recording because the recording will go out later. Brilliant. Right. So for those of you who haven't been to one of my trainings before, I purposefully made this one 75 minutes because when I say 60 minutes, I always run over. So, fingers crossed, I've still put so much value into today's training, but we won't go over for 75 minutes. I just want to give you a brief kind of idea of how I do things in my training. I like them to be as interactive as possible. So I think somebody might I gave you, Chris Master. Mute yourself. That would be amazing. Um, I like them to be as interactive as possible. So any questions that come up, I have put time at the end for questions rather than kind of like disturbing the flow as we go. But any questions that come up for you, you can pop them in the chat as you go if you don't want to forget them. And then either like at natural times throughout the training or at the end, I will answer all of your questions. Okay, hopefully I'll answer them as we go through because of what I've put in the training anyway. So I just want to share my screen with you all so that we can kick off straight away. And I hopefully for all of you, it is just as sunny as it is here down in lovely sunny Bournemouth. Well, near Bournemouth, actually. We're on the outskirts of Bournemouth, but I waffle, which you might find out as we go. Okay, so brand new to booked out. So this topic, couldn't think of the word then, this topic literally has my heart because I am so passionate about women in the very first stages of their business. But this could mean somebody who's like 2 years in and still feels brand new because they haven't like booked many or any paying clients yet. I feel so strongly about the fact that it is so important to get actual, clear, simple, strategic advice, not just advice, coaching, mentoring, steps, a framework at this point in your business, because it doesn't need to be as hard as it is sometimes made out to be. If I had had this structure and this framework when I first started in business, I would have been signing clients sooner than I actually was. So I have, first of all, designed this three-stage framework to deliver to you, but it's also what I do with all of my clients anyway. So it's like second nature to me. But I want you to take just a minute at the beginning of the training to kind of set the vision of what's possible for you. So it's April the 1st, 2025. So basically day one of quarter two. We will have already gone through quarter one. We're 14 days in. And you are celebrating signing your first or even your next paying client into your main signature offer. And you have a really clear strategy and plan of how that is just going to keep rolling. The momentum is going to keep going and you are going to keep signing paying clients. Like, what would that mean to you? I really want you to like just think on that for a moment. Like, what would that mean to you? Where would you be? What would that mean for like your business? What would that mean for your family? What would that mean for how you spend every day? Because this is why we're doing what we're doing. Okay, that vision. Like for and just some things that would come to mind for when it was me and my business, like would it mean that you're finally waking up confident and excited because you know that your business is like finally working? Would it mean that you're like actually living your dream life? You're working with clients you love, you have the freedom to enjoy it, whether that's like going to the gym in the middle of the day, going to work from coffee shops, doing the school run, whatever that looks like to you? Would it mean like you've stopped doubting yourself, you've stopped overthinking, and you've started showing up as that like authoritative, confident CEO that you're meant to be? Or it might even be a way that you can start proving to yourself how incredible you actually are and like showing you what you are truly capable of. I really want you to get into that space for like day one of quarter two. Okay. And this is exactly why you're here today, because for the next 75 minutes, I'm going to be sharing everything. Like I said, I wish someone had told me when I first started. And there's no fluff and there's no gatekeeping, because all of my clients know, and there's a couple of you here, that I am an open book and I share what works and I don't hold things back. Okay. I'm just going to be giving you the tools, the strategies, and the clarity and the confidence that you need to create this business that you love so that you can start signing those dream clients on repeat with more and more growing confidence. Okay. So by the end of the masterclass, you will all already know this because this is why you've signed up in the first place. But just to set the objectives, you're going to create alignment and authority in your business by building on like what makes you you, your strengths, how you attract the right clients, your dream clients with ease. You're going to have started to discover the key foundations that every business needs. So nailing your ideal client, creating offers that make people say like, I need this and I want to be in this straight away now, sign me up. Learn how to create a simple content strategy that connects with your dream clients and positions you as the one to work with, and walk away with confidence, clarity, and a simple framework that you can plug and play into your business to start signing clients without overwhelm, without guessing, without doubting yourself or feeling stuck. Okay. So, just very quickly, because personally, these slides at the beginning of a masterclass do sometimes go on for some that I've been a part of. I'm going to be completely honest. I'm keeping this bit really short, but it's really important, I feel, that your clients, whether they are clients that are looking at your free content online, they are paying clients, or they're coming to one of your masterclasses, they know the person that they are listening to, reading from, because that's how people are, what people buy into people. Okay. So just really quickly to give you an idea of like, why me? I'm Welsh, although like I said, we live just outside Bournemouth, got two gorgeous boys. I love reading. I love R&B music. I love reality TV. I like coffee shops, if you follow my stories. Before becoming a coach, although I did do it in my career, I was a teacher and a deputy head. Um, and I'm very much known for my leadership skills. And I was always known for my leadership skills from a very early age in my career. I traveled to schools in South Africa, the Caribbean, Malta to share best practice. So it is like ingrained in me. But when it got to 2016, I got burnt out. And because I was burnt out in my career, I developed fibromyalgia, which is like a chronic pain and chronic fatigue, basically. Not great. So in 2021, after a little bit of reflection, I chose to leave my career. And then in Feb 2022, so almost 3 years ago to like next month, I became a certified coach and launched my business. Okay, so that's kind of a real quick summary of me. And these are just the only pictures that I have of me in my previous career, funnily enough. But now in 2025, I'm consistently booked with one-to-one clients. I have 3 different groups that I run. I've worked with now 120 women, just over 120 women. I've got multiple filled offers. I've got sold out offers. I have consistent 4 and 5 plus figure months every month. And I get to live that life of like time, freedom, and flexibility, which I always wanted. So there's the like before and now's the after, but it's the how I got there that is what's important to you, because it didn't always look this way and it didn't always feel easy. And I'm not going to like make it all sound pretty, because it wasn't in the beginning. Okay. Because in those first few months, February and March of 2022, I launched my business. I launched a masterclass. I had zero interest, zero signups. I launched my first offer. It flopped. Okay. And I was putting out consistent content daily, twice a day, a lot of the time. Between May and August, I did sign 3 clients. They weren't hugely high ticket, and one of them was like a 99 ticket, £99 client, but it was all inconsistent. And I started to think, like, can I do this all the time? Can I actually make this my career? I was working all the hours, but I wasn't getting anywhere. I was exhausted, losing excitement. I was, like I said, posting twice a day and didn't know if I was ever going to be able to make a consistent income. Okay. And I know that's how a lot of people feel at the beginning of their business. But 2 months later, I was fully booked with clients. I had a launch set up for the beginning of the following year, which had signups, and I signed 7 high ticket clients in 7 days. Okay. So it changed in the space of 2 months. And here's how it changed, because I'm ready to help you do the same. It was using the ABC framework. Okay, what I've called the ABC framework as a little play on my teaching background. So the ABC framework is what we are going to build with you today to really get you to this place where you've got actionable steps that you can take away. All right. So the A is for alignment. And we're going to go into each one of these in detail. So alignment of you in your business, alignment of your energy, alignment of your beliefs, alignment of why you're the go-to coach that your ideal client should work with. Okay. B is your business foundations. These are so important. And C is cash. It was the only way I could make money and revenue. Start with the C. Cash, revenue, money, how you are bringing money into your business. Because obviously, a business without money actually is probably just a fun hobby on the side. We need to be bringing money into your business to make it profitable, sustainable, and give you all of those things that you want. So when you have got all 3 of these parts of the framework, the A, the B, and the C, all working together consistently, you are going to see clients, and that's when you're going to have the money rolling in. And this is something, when I say the word consistent, I mean consistent. You need these in place for the beginning of your business. You also need these in place within your first year of business, within your 10th year of business. When you're making £1 million in business, you will still need to go back to all 3 elements consistently to make sure they are aligned. This isn't like a one-time fits all. This is I need to make sure these are always secure in my business. And this is the stuff I didn't know at the beginning of my journey. So, for example, you can't create a standout offer which sells out without knowing the bigger struggles and wants of your ideal client. And also you can't do it without understanding what makes it unique to you. So you can't bring cash in through your offer without knowing these foundations. You can't sell that offer consistently without knowing who you're talking to in your messaging, without having a standout brand, without being known for something. So you have to have all parts of this framework in place. Everything comes back to the ABC framework, like I said, at the beginning of your business and 10 years from now. Okay. So are you ready to start developing your ABC framework for yourself? Pop it in the chat. I'm ready. Yes, let's go. Let's get this like momentum rolling, because your momentum is going to roll when you start taking actions. Okay. Excellent. Yes, Katie, you are ready. Margaret, Sarah, love it. Okay. So let's start with alignment. Let me just have a little sip of water a second, because I'm talking at 500 miles an hour. Okay. Brilliant. Yes, yes, yes. Love it. Okay. So let's start with alignment if the screen wants to move. Okay. Now, alignment isn't just a buzzword. It isn't just one of those words that we use all of the time, like, oh, let's get an alignment. Let's do some grounding. Let's do a visualization or a meditation. Alignment is the foundation that is going to build the clarity, the confidence, and the results that you want in your business. Okay. And alignment is what is going to then attract those dream clients to you. So without alignment, you may bring some cash revenue clients into your business, but it won't be consistent. And then that's not a profitable business, which is not what we want. Okay. So when it comes to alignment, this very much means, sorry, I have to move the box on my screen to see, like really looking inward. So, like I said, I've spent like loads of time reflecting on what really matters to me in my business. So, like what values I have as a person, but then how do they reflect in my business? What's my vision for my business? And I've been working on this with my Elevate members. Katie, you'll be able to resonate with this. But it's not just about having the vision that you think is possible. It's having a 10 times vision. It's about thinking bigger and expanding beyond what you think is possible, because that's like a belief holding you back. And it's like the why, it's the reason you do everything. Okay. And alignment was the first and biggest part of the 3-stage framework that turned my business around back in 2022. Because when I started aligning every part of my business with what felt authentic to me, what felt fun, what excited me, what was true to me, it all shifted. Okay. My confidence shifted. My belief that it was all just going to work out shifted. My content was easier to create. My offers flowed. And that's when the clients like started showing up with so much more ease, because everything that I was putting out in my business was aligned. Okay. It is the truest foundation of business that feels effortless to grow. Because when you're clear on who you are and what you stand for, that success that you want becomes inevitable to you. And that's the bit that we want to get to. Okay. So there's loads of things that alignment can look like. Okay. And they all are part of you being aligned in your business. So it's your energy. It's how you show up with that confidence so that your audience feel it too. It's your confidence. Comes to like your internal knowing that you are that expert that can deliver from a place of certainty. Okay. Knowing your worth, owning it, which leads us on to conviction, owning your purpose, standing behind your work 100%, being able to say, I know I am the person who can get my ideal client the transformation that they want. I know I am the best person who can get them there. And I believe it because of X, Y, and Z. So when you start working all of this, you're becoming more and more aligned with what you believe, which will then infiltrate into your messaging, your vision, your values, making every decision in your business from that place of authenticity and full alignment. And then the one I talk about the most, your uniqueness and your USP. It's being aligned with what makes you different, like that age-old question, why you? Okay, really being aligned with why you in your business. So why should your ideal client sign up with you? Why should your ideal clients work with you? Why are you the person that can deliver this result? Okay, this all allows you to like stand out effortlessly. And yes, it takes work behind the scenes, but your clients and your audience don't see that. So one of the things that I did, this going through this alignment process really led me into developing my now trademarked method, the strategy of you. Because this is how I, like for myself and with my clients, make sure that I'm fully aligned in business. Because this is how you sign clients. Your first client, your 10th client, your 100th client, okay? And checking in with this regularly is how you grow, is how you scale, and it's how you expand. All right. So the strategy of you, it covers those aspects here that we just talked about, but in a really simple way. So authenticity, what makes you authentic? What is it about your personal story that you can bring to the table and build into your brand story? What vision and values are important to you and how do they link in with your business? What makes you unique? Why should your ideal clients work with you? What skills, what experiences, what past walks of life can you bring to the table? And how do all of these plus what you believe, what you've created as your offer, how do they all add into your authority? Why are you the authority to work with? And when you go through this strategy of you, which is going to feed into the A part of your ABC framework, you will really be able to tune in with that most important question, why you? And I popped this here just because this is just one client who has said to me before, like, the strategy of you is fucking amazing because it works. Like, it starts to get people reaching out to you because they connect with you. Okay, so the A part of your ABC framework is alignment. Okay, so these are just three big questions that you can start to explore in your business and really become aligned with your business. So, what unique strengths and experiences do I bring to the table? And how can I highlight these? Like, how can I bring them forward into my outward facing business, my content, my messaging, my marketing, so that I stand out? Okay. And I've just given you a little prompt here. Like, think about jobs that you've had, skills, personality traits, all of those things. One of the things that I see often or talk through often when I'm having this session with clients is they'll say, well, they'll say, well, you know, I'm a really open, genuine, authentic person. And that is a strength and an experience, not an experience as such. That is a strength of yours. Okay. But how can you highlight that as part of your business? How are you going? Why does that make you a better coach or service provider than Sally down the street who provides the same offers to you? Or is that just a part of your natural personality? Because I would hope, I would really hope most people are authentic in life. Okay. But so really try and drill down with this. And then leading on from that, what do I want my business to stand for? And like, how can I make sure my values shine through in everything that I do, everything that I create, everything that I share? And when I'm talking about values here, it's the values you want your business to represent. And like, think about one way you can show each value through your content, through your offers. So, one of my values, well, I'm going to share them with you, they're coming up at some point, is educational excellence. Okay. I value, I said this at the beginning, not holding back. You know, those whole don't share too much, all of that. No, if I'm working on something, like my clients will hear about it so that they can apply it to their business. Okay. So educational excellence is a value of mine. It links to me being a teacher as well. It links to me putting my all into my content, into my offer experiences, everything. So that's how my value really comes through and what I want my business to stand for. Okay. And then this is a question you can regularly go back to. Does my business feel aligned with who I am? Or, and this happens quite a lot without us even realizing it sometimes, am I trying to fit in a mold that doesn't feel true to me? Am I trying to pigeonhole myself? Am I trying to be like that person without realizing it? So, a lot of the time, if you're not seeing consistency in your business, if you're not seeing the clients, if you're not seeing the income, it is because there's something out of alignment. That is often one of the pieces and the blind spots. So think about what does feel right to you, what does feel true to you. How can you bring more of that to your content, your offer, your brand? And if you're already established in your business or you've been putting out content and your offer for months, but it's been crickets, like, what is it that you're doing that doesn't feel aligned with you? And start to identify that blind spot. Okay, so these, and I'm going to give you a version of this when I send out the replay later. You will have like a downloadable version of this, or you can take pictures. It's completely up to you. Okay, so like I said, with my, and I would hope you can see all of these come through. Those of you that are in my world, in my office, you should see that they come through in how I work. But those of you that have followed me on social media in my content, hopefully these values are coming through. Strategic simplicity. I'm all about like taking complicated and making it as simple as possible. Educational excellence, being confident and being that unmissable authority. Like, I need to value and represent that as well. Being authentically aligned and being authentic in itself, and then owning it and being bold about it and not watering yourself down. Those are all my personal values and brand values that I then make sure thread through into everything that I do in my business, as an example. Okay. Right. Moving on to our B and our business foundations. Now, this is massive, I will say, and I do only have 75 minutes with you, even though I extended it by the usual amount of time. So we, I'm gonna like go through it with you. So building your business, if you build your business on business, God, can I speak? If you build your business on guesswork, it will crumble. Okay. It might get you so far, but it is going to crumble. You've got to build it. I take the house analogy on solid foundations for it to thrive. Because without the solid foundations, and this is like my wall, without the solid foundations, there's going to be little cracks appearing constantly in different places. And it's going to be a bit like whack-a-mole. Okay. So your solid foundations are beyond important. But like I said, there are loads of business foundations. Okay. The business foundations, what are they? You've got your niche, you've got your ideal client, you've got your brand. And when I say brand, I'm talking about all the things we just talked about over here. Okay. But also your visual, your brand aesthetics, your brand tone of voice, your brand personality, what you stand for. You've then got your offers. Those are a huge part of your foundational strategy. The transformations that you're going to become known for in your offers, your product suite. Now, you might think, how is that the same as offers? Well, product suite is also like, can include your freebies and things like that, that all build into your funnel. Your business model, so like how you like to work, how that looks in practice in the whole model of your business working around your life, and like pricing strategy. There's possibly more. Actually, there is more, but I didn't put all the like little nitty gritty ones because I do want to try and keep it simple for you. These are the most important ones. And like I said, I can't talk about every single one of them. However, what I'm going to draw upon for you today and go into more detail on are the two most important to get you started in your business, but also anytime you are looking to refresh and reset your thinking in your business. It's your ideal clients and your offers. They are the core foundations that we want to get right. And also from experience, they are the things, especially the ideal client, that are not drilled down into enough. And that is why businesses don't succeed. Okay. Because too many new business owners, especially, skim the surface when it comes to their ideal client. And this is through no fault of their own. I did it. Okay. It is because you don't know, like, what to do or how to go deeper or what type of avenues to look down or what do I need to know about my ideal client. Like, I've had people become a client of mine before and say, oh yeah, my ideal client is Sophie, and she has 3 children named Alison, Paula, and Mary. And it's like, that information doesn't matter. Like, we need to drill down into the important information, because when you skim the surface with your ideal client, people then rush to create an offer and then wonder why it doesn't sell. It's because these two business foundations have been skimmed over. Okay. So we need to make sure that we deeply understand your ideal client, your audience. And when I say deeply understand, I mean their struggles, I mean their desires, I mean like what they're willing and what they want to pay for right now in terms of the solution that they want, the transformation. Okay. Because if you build a program on guesswork about who your ideal client is and what they might want, rather than on strategy, it's not going to sell. And that's when you're going to end up in that place that you're always just going to be brand new. You're never going to end up being booked out. And we want the booked out for you. Okay. So some of the things to think about, and these are the standard questions. Okay. Who is your dream client? And I don't mean what's their name and what's the name of their children. Okay. I mean, like, who are they? Like, what's the path they have already walked in life? So where are they? And again, I don't mean like physically, I mean like what stage of life are they at? What have they been through? What are they struggling with? Okay. And you could, when you're drilling down into your ideal client, think of every possible thing that they're struggling with. But by now, when you're going into your ideal client work, in theory, you should have a rough idea of what your niche is. Okay. So you drill down into what they're struggling with in the area that is your niche and your expertise. And then what solution do they want? Now, there's so many words for this. What solution do they want? What result do they want? What transformation do they want? It's all the same thing. If the struggle is over here and it's point A, point B is the destination they want you to get them to. What is that destination? Okay. And then a big question, how do you know this? We don't want it to be guesswork. We want it to be through research, market research, through previous people you've worked with, through your experience. Back it up for yourself. Like, how do you know this? So, like I said, those are like the standard questions. Okay. Those are the questions most people will go into and then think, done, I'm done with my ideal client. But you need to go deeper. Okay. You need to go deeper. So then when you're putting out your content and marketing, it has an impact and really speaks to that ideal client. So these are the types of questions that I then ask myself, or I get my clients to ask themselves. So, what does your ideal client's challenges? So, the struggles that they're going through, what does that mean to their day to day life? Like, what does their day look like? And get super, super specific and tangible with this. What does it look like? But also, what does it feel like? And the reason we want to go with the looks and the feels is because we're giving two avenues into like getting into the head of your ideal client. The feels is the feels is creating that emotional connection, which you really want and need to do to move your ideal client through that client journey, sorry, through that buyer journey. So the journey of seeing your stuff and liking it, to becoming interested, to reaching out, to being a part of your world. Okay. We want to create that emotional connection. So what does it look like in their life? And what does it feel like? And a really good way to do this is, sorry, I've had so many calls today. My brain is now like, ugh. A really good way to do this is to say to yourself, paint the picture. If this was on a movie screen in front of me, what would their life look like? Okay. What would the dialogue inside their head be? Really get that deep. Okay. What thoughts are running through their mind in their words, not in your words? Okay. So are they, I'm going to give you an example of this in a minute. Are they thinking, oh, do you know what? My subconscious beliefs are really creeping in today. Or are they like, fuck's sake, like my day today is absolutely shit? Speak in their language, okay? And then you do the same for the desire, that the solution that they want. So, how would achieving that solution, the desire, change their life experience? Paint the picture again. What would that look like for them? Okay. Because when you have got a bestie level understanding of your ideal client, only then should you go on to create your no-brainer signature offer. Okay. Because then they'll sign up. I say they'll sign up straight away. There's lots of caveats to this, obviously, but there will be more chance that they sign up straight away to be in it because you know them so well. You can talk to them in your marketing so well. That's when you create your offer. So it is perfect for them. And I know one of the mistakes that I made at the beginning of my business was I skimmed the surface without realizing it with my ideal client and then went straight into, oh, I'm going to create a 12-week offer because that's what you think you're supposed to do. Okay. No. So we're going to dive into the offer part. When it comes to your biz foundation of your offer, I want you to kind of go through this flow chart, and that text shouldn't be italic because it's not very easy to read. So apologies for that. Okay. So when you're creating your offer, I want you to kind of go through this flow chart. What does your ideal client want more than anything? Absolutely more than anything. that point B that we've already established in our ideal client deep dive. Okay. Then ask yourself, how can I provide them with this? So how can I give them that? Now you might say to yourself, well, through coaching, duh. Okay, but I want you to like then break that down even further. Okay, so if you were going to give them that, how would you get them there? What would you start with? What would you do next? What would you do next? I almost want to break it down. When you're in school and you're teaching children how to, you might have experienced this, and you're teaching children how to write instructions. You say to them, write it down so that an alien from outer space could follow those instructions and know what you were doing. Okay. So, very similar approach to breaking down your offer. Where would you start? Session one, what would you do with them? And in your head, why would you do that? Then what would you do with them? Then what would you do with them? When you got to the end, okay, if I was to do this, and this, I'll get them to that solution. Obviously, with the caveat that they apply all the work that you do with them, I'll get them to that solution. Okay, how long is that going to take me? Okay, if that was 15 sessions, then having come up with I'm going to create a 12-week offer at the beginning isn't going to work, is it? Because you've just, in a really specific, strategic, simple way, outlined that you need 15 sessions to get them there. Okay, so your offer should be 15 sessions or 15 weeks or 16 weeks if you want to add, you don't start with the length of the offer. Start with what's the transformation? How am I going to get them there step by step? Then you will have the features of your offer, because you can say to yourself, okay, is one-to-one the best way for me to get them there? Is group the best way for me to get them there? That's when you start asking those kind of details after you've come up with the how. Okay. And then being really clear on what are those actual results that they're going to take away with them. When you've done that ideal client work, you can go through this offer with your experience, with your expertise that you've brought to the table already, really clearly in place. And this will be a signature offer, a way that you can think, right, I can go out there and I can sell this. Okay, that is why doing these two business foundations this way around is so important. And hopefully I've really simplified that for you as well. So when it comes to the B of your business foundations, these are the steps that I want you to take. Okay. So remember, we've done all of this with our alignment. We know why us, we know why people are going to come and work with us. So now you deep dive into your ideal client, the mindset, the thoughts, the struggles, the desires. Okay. Then you work on the specific transformation. And I say specific because we want to get as detailed as possible, that your ideal client wants, and how you can provide that in your offer in the simplest, most effective way. Okay. And then another level to that, based on the alignment work, is how can you add in a signature way that you do this, a signature method that you might have, just like the ABC framework, like an edge, how can you bring your authority to this? Okay, so all of this work that you do in the A stage feeds into the B stage, the business foundations. And then when it comes to pricing, you ask yourself, because this is a question I get asked all the time, how do I price my offers? What's the true value of the transformation your offer provides? Forget about what you think you're worth, although you know you're worth £1 million after doing the alignment work. Okay, what's the true value of the transformation your offer provides? And how does your pricing also then reflect the value of the transformation, your expertise, your time, that's not just going into the calls, but depending on what's included, like the time in between calls, the time behind the scenes where you're doing things for clients, and the results that you bring to the table. It is very easy for anyone to say, never charge less than £1,500 for a 12-week program. But again, that is plucking something out of the sky that is so inauthentic. You need to ask yourself that question when you're in alignment. When you've done this work on the value, the ideal client, the transformation, the results, then you ask yourself the question. And then a really good activity, I've done this with a group before, is when you think you know that price. So for argument's sake, let's just say it's a 12-week one-to-one coaching program and it's you're charging £1,500. Say to yourself, okay, you've charged, in all honesty, you've charged £1,500 because that felt comfortable to you. Okay. Say, right, go up a little bit. Okay, I'm going to charge 1,800. How does that feel to me? If it feels a little wobbly, come down. If it feels fine, go up. Really push yourself. When you get to the point of say, right, I'm going to charge £2,000. Oh, no way. I can't charge that. That like is so far out of my comfort zone. Then you know you've pushed yourself to the edge of your comfort zone. So you can find like a happy medium space, but still going by the value. Okay. The value that you and your transformation bring to the table. Okay. Right. So section C, which leads into my favorite thing as well. Not cash, although obviously, who doesn't love revenue and cash? Because why are you in your business otherwise? Okay, Kate, I can see your question. I'm going to come back to that towards. Actually, no, I'm going to answer it now because it makes sense. So when your comfort zone is low, so what? Any tips? What you mean? I'm guessing is like when you feel like your comfort zone is like really comfortable, and you want to charge. If we're going with pricing, like £20 a session or something. What I would say is, first of all, the reason that's where it is because this work in alignment in terms of your beliefs, when you go even a step before alignment and you go into your mind, it's all free. When you go into your mindset work and what you believe is there is going to be a belief that you're holding on to that you are not worth more than that. That why would people pay you? Why are you the person that would sign up for people to work with? It's you're kind of telling yourself those beliefs, and that's why your comfort zone is really small and you're staying within that comfort zone then. So in terms of it being low, so you speak, and how having some tips to come out of it, number one is building your confidence, because when we build our confidence and we start to take action, we start to very slowly creep towards the edge of our comfort zone. Okay, I'll come to that one in a minute, Katie. You come to the edge of your comfort zone, and the more small actions that you take, we were talking about this on our like Elevate membership call this morning, the more small actions you take, the more confident you will be. You'll start to feel and see the results like, oh, that wasn't so bad. You'll take another action. You'll add more confidence. You'll see more results. And when I say see more results, it can just be like a result within yourself in terms of like, oh, that felt good, or I like that, or I've achieved that. Every action that you take is a loop. Every action you take builds more confidence, then has a result. So you take another action and it keeps going around and around and around. So my tip, so to speak, is to keep taking actions. However small they might be, keep taking actions because that's what's going to build your confidence. And it's only with confidence that we go even towards the edge of the comfort zone and then go out of it. Okay. And it's not easy. And anyone who's like, I'm not sat here saying this is super easy, just come on, get on with it. It is, confidence is built by doing, not by thinking about it. It's through the doing. So that's what I would say is do something, take an action towards it, whatever that might be. And then, yeah, stop when it gets uncomfortable. You need to catch that and you need to say to yourself, oh, I'm not doing X because I feel uncomfortable right now. I'm just going to do it. What's the worst that can happen? I know that's a common phrase, but actually that helps you move out of that mindset. Okay. Katie, how do I know what people are prepared to pay? You don't, but you know what your charge, you know what your offer is worth. And if someone isn't prepared to pay that, and I don't mean this in like a bullshit, like bugger them type of way. I mean, if you know your worth And if you know the worth of your offer, then the ideal clients for that offer are prepared to pay that. And I'm not a person that ever says there's no such thing as price objections, you just didn't sell it well enough, because we're in a world now where money is tighter, like for all the millions of political reasons. Okay. We're in a world where money is tighter. Sometimes money will be an objection, and how you can help that person if this aligns with your values, which is what I always do, is you can have payment plans. You can be flexible with things like that, but don't devalue your worth and the offer's worth because you're worrying that people won't pay. Okay. Because when it's worth it and you show up that like it's worth it in your marketing, people will pay it if they have the money, obviously. Okay. Okay, I've just seen another question. I'm just going to answer these before we go in. Sales conversations where your potential client wants to sign up to your one-to-one. They see the value of your offer, the transformation, and they're saying is exactly what they need and that they really want that high-level support on a one-to-one instead of a download course or group. But they have said the price is holding them back. For reference, 1299 for a 10-week high support. They're saying it's not the right time to invest. We'll try plow on for now and hopefully we'll be able to invest in 3 months' time. I have 3 PPE options. Okay, so you have got clients or potential clients who have said to you, they really want everything you're offering, but they can't afford it, basically. And the reasons they're saying are it's not the right time to invest. So first things first, the one thing I would say to anybody, and I say this to myself as well, is don't take it personally, because this isn't a you thing and it's not your offer thing. They are telling you they want your offer, but they have the belief that they cannot, not that they cannot afford it, but they are not going to pay that amount of money for it. So actually, even though they want it, they are saying, they are believing it's actually not worth it. Otherwise, they would pay it. Okay. So what I would say is there's a couple of things here in your marketing. So you are saying that this in your marketing, they're seeing the value of the offer and the transformation. Okay. But they're not paying for it. You want to do more objection handling in your marketing. So you want to kind of position it more before they even get to the sales call. You've like put it out there of why, like then you want to paint the picture basically of why in the next 2 months I can't remember who you help actually. It's like it's like the how to do it, isn't it? So you want to get across like in 2 months' time, your business, your life, like everything that this is going to impact can look like this, or it can look like this if you don't invest. The choice is completely up to you. That type of more direct thought leadership, but also objection handling marketing. I would do that. But at the same time, and I've done this several times myself, is you have to offer the payment plans. You've given the like availability, you've made it as flexible as possible for them. If they are still not ready to commit to that, you have to just be and genuinely be like, okay, you know where I am when the time is right. And then they will keep seeing your marketing and keep seeing that they're ready. Because if somebody, and I say this with love, if somebody tells you they're seeing the value, they can see the transformation, they want this, but they're not willing to invest in it, they're possibly not willing to commit to the work that it would take as well with you. So they're not in the right place, because the people in the right place will find a way to make it work. And I do remember your amazing cake, but I couldn't exactly remember how you help your clients. But no, that makes complete sense. Okay. Love answering questions. So, how to bring cash, the C, basically. I was originally going to call this content, because all of you who know me and have seen my page know how excited I get about content. But there's more than just content that does bring cash and revenue into your business. So, as a foundation, I wanted it to reflect the fact that there are other things within that as well. So, I've lost my notes. There they are. So, there you go. First of all, creating revenue, income, cash in your business isn't about luck. Okay. It isn't like hoping it's going to start coming in. It is all about strategy. Okay. And strategy doesn't have to be complicated. It can be simple because this is where you are now. You've got your alignment, you've got your ideal client, you've got your offer. The C is where you shift from hobby to business. Okay, because so far it's been like behind the scenes stuff. Lovely, lovely. I loved those times. Okay, when I was just doing that. But now we're going into business mode. You need to get out there. You need to start showing up. And that's how you bring in the consistent cash flow with intention. Like you are intentionally taking certain actions in your business. So, how we do that. So, what to do slash like have in place to start signing clients, which is then going to bring in the cash into your business. Okay. So, you are going to have your different revenue streams. And what I mean when I say revenue streams, and I'm just going to give you a brief like overview of what all of these are, and then I'm going to focus on content for you. So, with revenue streams, it's how you and your business are set up to bring money into your business consistently. So, how are you streaming money into your business? Is it through your one-to-one offer? Is it through your one-to-one and your group offer? Do you have downloadable products as well? Okay, it's really important to be really clear on what your revenue streams are, because whatever goal you set yourself, is it actually possible right now in your business to make that based on the streams of revenue that you've got set up? Okay. And again, that's something really simple strategically, but isn't thought about a lot. Then you've got your visibility strategy. So, how are you getting in front of the right audience to attract paying clients? So, are you doing that through your social media, through collaborations, through networking, real life, online? Like, how are you getting visible in front of the people who you actually want to work with? Okay, so that's something to consider. Content, but content that converts, not just content. Okay, so the messaging and strategies that turn your followers into clients and they create demand for your offer. So this is that taking them through the client journey part. Funnels. When I was in the beginning of my business, I didn't have a bloody real clue what people were talking about when they talked about funnels. So the funnels are basically your step-by-step process that guides your audience, your potential clients from discovering you, consuming your content, all the way down to downloading a freebie, to then signing up to a masterclass, to being in an offer. Okay. Your funnel is how you create consistent, but also automated revenue streams as you grow your business. Pricing strategy, setting prices that reflect your value. We've already talked about that. Your client journey, mapping out the steps your clients are going to take or are able to take from finding you, whether that's online or in real life, to working with you. So what does that client journey look like? Because that is effectively how you bring money into your business. And linked to that is your sales process. So do you do it all in the DMs? Do you offer calls? Do you have an application form that people have because you want to like vet people before they actually come and work with you? What is your sales process? So there's lots of things to think about, but I was going to say the most important thing, there's several important things, but the thing that's going to make all the difference for you in the beginning of your business is to get out there and start creating content, and content that converts, which literally is my love language. So content that converts is what we're now going to focus on, because content that converts is basically the game changer in your business, because it is going to make selling feel like you're not selling ever, because it just happens when people read your content. Okay. And content that converts is literally the bridge between you showing up online, putting something out there, and you signing clients. The how they get from here to here is your content. So this is why content is so important and is talked about so often. And if you've been like posting for a while and not either getting zero results or not getting the results that you actually want to see, your content that is converting is the missing piece. Okay. Because, and these are mistakes I made at the beginning, posting consistently won't have any impact if you're just consistently posting content that is missing the mark and it's not doing, doesn't have an intention and it doesn't have a focus behind it. Getting loads of likes and comments or views on your content or reels that get high numbers means absolutely nothing if it's not bringing in your dream clients who are ready to work with you. So that whole saying, like, metrics don't matter, they don't matter if they're not converting. Okay. And this is just a prime example using my own content. This was me back, I don't even know what year it was, but I wasn't bringing in many clients. Over 100 likes, 43 comments, which for me is a massive number. Okay. And then content, this is at some point in the last 12 months, got 32 likes and it's got 0 comments. Okay. Which piece of content converted? It was this one. Okay. Because this one is actually just a phrase. Be that confident woman you dream and aspire to be. And I actually gave quite good value in the caption, like, let's do a visualization together. But I wasn't, people are not going to read your caption, first of all, unless you grab them in to start with. Okay. Whereas this one was directly talking to what my ideal client wanted at that point. If you're creating content your audience needs, that's why it's not converting into clients and cash. Let me explain. Okay. And I went on to talk about your audience a lot of the time don't know what they need. So creating content on what they need isn't actually going to engage them. It needs to be on what they want or to shift their perspective like that piece of content does. So this piece of content, this actual one brought in a client, okay, for my previous round of the Authority Mastermind. So it's not about numbers. It is about what you're saying. And that's a pure example of that. So for your content to convert, you need to hit all 4 of these points in your content. You have to make your audience aware they have a problem. Like, a lot of people don't even know they have a problem or what it is. So make them aware that this is their problem. You get across how you solve the problem. You get into that piece of content who you are. And I don't mean like, hey, I'm Paula. I mean like who you are in terms of how you help, how you do that. And also you get across why they should trust you. Okay. So when you have all 4 of these in your content, it is the perfect recipe for that content to convert. And doing that consistently will bring money and income into your business. Okay. And if you'll notice, you can't do any of this without having the A to B of the framework in place, because you need to know the you, the why they should trust you, your values, your vision, your authority edge. And you need to know what their problems are to be able to create this content in the first place. So that is why these all linked together so clearly. Okay. Now, the first, one of the main things that I want to talk about when it comes to converting content is think about when your ideal client talks about their problem, what are they saying? And how are they saying it? So I mocked up these 2 examples, and I kind of gave this example earlier when I was talking as well. Like, and I see many posts like this, how you heal your inner child and regulate. Oh, so that should say, like, how do I heal my inner child and regulate my nervous system? Who's clicking on that? It's overly technical. It's abstract. It's not going to connect emotionally with your audience. You might get some clicks because somebody is already aware of this stuff, but 9 times out of 10, your ideal client is going to scroll past. Okay. Whereas, how do I lose 20 pounds and stop picking fights with my husband? Okay. This actually, in my made up thing here, is because the reason they're doing this is because their nervous system is out of whack, basically. So I've gone straight in with what their problem is in a really relatable way, which builds trust and connection, and it resonates, so it connects with them and it's going to convert. Okay. Now, one of the biggest ways that you create problem awareness content is by talking about the problem and making them aware of it. But you do that by talking to how that problem is showing up in their life. So, you know how I gave the examples in the B part, like what does it look like? What does it feel like? That's what we need to really drill down to. So, like this piece of content here came from an actual sentence that a potential client said to me. The only people who like my content are other coaches or people who are trying to sell me something. Like who can link, who can resonate with that? Want to know why this is? I go on to tell them because that is something they are currently thinking. Okay. Content taking you forever to create. 99% of like my clients at the start, there's a good reason why. I go on to tell them. So these are their problems. I am going on to make them aware of why this is a problem. And then I'm bridging the gap and showing them how I solve that problem for them. So that is problem awareness content. Just a few different examples taken from my own content. Doesn't always have to sound exactly the same. Like, are you feeling stuck and frustrated? I don't know why I put on a voice when I speak like that, but I do. But are you feeling stuck and frustrated in your job? Or are you feeling stuck now you're over 40 and going through the menopause? Like I've seen that same kind of thing a million times for a million niches. It's not going to activate anyone. Okay. Authority content is also something that you want to be putting out near the, well, at all points in your business, but especially at the beginning. And a lot of people have the belief that how can I put out authority content when I'm not an authority because I've only just started? You have built an offer because you have the expertise and the skills in that area to provide that result for your client. So therefore you are an authority. You have to own that. And authority content shows your expertise, your value, and that you can help them, which then builds your ideal client's trust in you and that you're the person that they want to work with. It's like educational content, but it's backed up. It could be a client story or your story, and you back up how you help other clients through this. You're being bold. This is where boldly owning one of my values really comes in because it is about really speaking to that. So, like, here is literally just a day in the life at a VIP day. That's positioning my authority because it shows I am already doing this. Okay. Why no one is signing up to your offers? It's like, oh, she knows. And as they read them, they will know. Instantly builds your authority. Okay. This one was a bit like polarizing as well. Like, why it's okay if you don't want to work with me. Like, that's absolutely okay. Because so it's really like standing by my point. And these are all just my quirks and personality ways that I do things as well. They're not saying that you have to do it exactly this way. So problem awareness and authority are two of the key areas to really think about, especially in the beginning of your business. But they are the two key content types that I use all of the time as well. Okay. The other way, not the other way, but a simple breakdown that I wanted to give you is my 5 steps to sales formula. Which equals your content converting. And this is like authority positioning content at its very best. So if you wanted a more like step-by-step way of creating this, think about the problem your ideal client thinks they have. Okay, what do they think their problem is? Like, oh, my content isn't converting. Okay, that's my problem. Then think about the problem they actually have. So I would go on to say, you think the problem is that your content isn't converting, but actually your problem is you don't understand your ideal client deep enough. Do you see? Like I'm now educating them and shifting their perspective. I would then go on to explain why, maybe give a specific time or a way you've solved this in the past, or how to solve it if you don't have an example yet. And then you bridge, you position your offer as the solution that's going to help them solve this problem and give them a really clear call to action so they know what you want them to do next. Lead them like a baby in the nicest possible way. Tell them what they want to do. People like that. Okay. So that is like a really simple way to start breaking down content that converts. Told you I talk a lot and I've put so much value into this. So your go-to when it comes to turning your content into cash are these three aspects. Speak to your ideal client, use the words, the phrases that they are using when they are talking about their problems, when they're talking about what they want. Okay. Get rid of all the technical, the jargon, the abstract phrases, and really focus on what makes it relatable and how you can create a connection with them. Okay. Focus on transformations. Again, you want to make sure you're talking to the results or the transformation that they want all the time. I don't mean in every single like slide of a carousel, but in every single post, you need to be talking about that, what they want, not just the process of how you get them there. Because so many people, when I am on a sales call and they end up signing up, they don't care about how I get them there. They just trust me enough because of what I've put out there that I can get them there. Okay. So instead of saying join my 10-week program, you can say in 10 weeks, you'll feel confident, sign clients, and finally have a business that works, for example. And then also in content that converts, you can't convert without having a really clear call to action. Okay, something so simple, but missed out. Have a really clear next step, whether it's to DM you, to join your freebie, or to download your freebie that's in your bio, or to book a call with you. Make it really easy for them to move closer to working with you. Okay, really important. Every piece of content you create is purposefully created to bring your ideal client closer to working with you inside your offer. That's what content that converts is. You have created it with that intention, purpose, and focus so that you go on to sign clients through that content. That's the goal. So when it comes to the C part of your framework, I've given you some really good like points to get you started creating this content. So list, I've said 6, you can do as many as you want. List 6 key messages your ideal client needs to or wants to hear right now that are going to help them trust you and then take action. Okay. And then how can you create high quality content from these? A really good prompt that I actually gave a client on a call earlier today was come up with 6 questions that your ideal clients would pay money to have the answer to right now. Okay. What are they desperate to know or to have the answer to? Then go on to think about how you can create content around that. Okay. What transformation do your audience want to see in themselves when they engage with your content? Okay. So what do they want to be experiencing? What do they want to have mindset shifts? Do they want to feel more confident? Do they want to have something they can take away and apply into their business? So think about how you're writing messaging that paints a picture of where they are now versus where they'll be after when they work with you. Okay. And then which offer is your content directly leading into selling? So when you are promoting an offer, again, each piece of content should lead into that offer. So how am I making it easy for my ideal clients to sign up to work in this offer? Okay. Am I using my stories, my emails, my actual content? Okay. Am I picking up on what the offer can do for them in my content or however I'm sharing this? So if you take this away and work through this 3-part framework, you will have what you need to be able to start applying to your business and start signing clients. Okay. But like I said, it is hard to cover everything in 70. Well, yeah, in 7, I've already used the 75 minutes. But the question is like, are you ready to commit to yourself, to show up, to stand out as this like confident businesswoman you are, so that you start seeing multiple clients, multiple inquiries, and you start earning those 4-figure months? Like, yes, I know you are. I want you to think about what's going to happen now if you don't take any more action. And you're just like, oh, that was a good masterclass, Paula. I've got like 3 pages of notes. Brilliant. Okay. But what could happen if you do Now take this and actually start to apply it and start to put things into place. Okay. And I just wanted to give you three really quick examples to show that this works. So one of my clients, Nick, she's an empowerment coach for single women. By week 8 of working together in my She's in Business group program, she signed 2 high ticket clients. She had no business or no strategy when she started. And week 8, she had 2 clients. She'd delivered her first workshop, launched her new program, and secure signups. And they were each multi-4-figure clients as well. Okay, so this framework works. We've got Jenny, who's a manifestation and mindset mentor. She signed her first client, and with that first client made double her return on investment just because of the worth around her value and the pricing. And she had no business when we started, okay, and has since gone on to have grown a membership, continued signing consistent clients. She's been a guest speaker at live events. She runs sold out in-person events. Like, she's massively branching out. Okay, so again, using this framework. And then we've got Bonnie, who's a yoga teacher and a life coach, and she signed over 30 clients in 2 months. Okay, she's had sold out workshops with wait lists, hit 4 figures, consistent months. Her content is doing a lot of the work for her now. And when with content with her, it's very bespoke, and it's emails as well and in-person events. It's not just her physical social media content. So this ABC framework works. Okay. And like I said, I haven't been able to, I've given you so much value and tried to give you as much as you can to like get off the starting blocks. But there, if you can just give me another 5 minutes, there is another way to continue working together after this, if that was what you wanted. And that is the doors are reopening for my She's in Business, which is 10-week group program. It says for coaches, it's not just for coaches. That's an old one. It's for coaches and service providers who are ready to build and grow their business to paying clients and being booked out. And this is the last ever time, really actually quite sad, but it's strategic, is the last time I'm going to be running this group program at all. Okay. So if you're ready to build and or grow your business, but you have all these how questions, like how do I sign clients? What do I do first? What do I do next? If you're frustrated because you're showing up online as this confident expert, but it all feels like a million miles away. And if you're fed out of figuring it out alone and you want those answers to your questions, just like all of these ladies did who've already, there's more, I just couldn't fit all the pictures in, who've already been all the way through She's in Business, this is for you. And this is where you need to be, because in She's in Business, we're going to be figuring out and then firming up your foundations. So that includes ideal client work, personal branding to stand out, strategy of you work. We're going to be mapping out your multi-4-figure core signature offer in week 3. We're going to be doing that, so it speaks exactly to your dream client. I'm going to be teaching you, and you're going to be learning how to use your social media in a way that converts and gets you paid. We're going to be looking at growth content. We're going to be looking at sales content, how to effectively communicate your value simply. We're going to be looking at launch strategies that are going to work best for you, not just like cookie cutter strategies. And towards the end, we're going to then design your 4-figure blueprint so you can continue doing this after She's in Business finishes. And how it works is we have weekly quality training and hot seat coaching sessions. Okay. And you get homework, teacher, every single week, because this is about really building the framework for your business. We have Voxer chats every single day. That's except Saturdays and Sundays, although the women can still use it on Saturdays and Sundays to move you forward. You have a one-to-one session in the middle so that we really focus on just you and your business for that bespoke strategy and next steps. And you'll also have like my eyes on your business, reviewing your content and any other work, whether it's a launch, a masterclass, whatever it might be. It's my favorite thing to do. And within the time, I fully train you up in your business foundations, your branding, your offer, multiple offers, creating standout content, launching and selling, so that you have absolutely everything that you need to start signing paying clients. And like I said, in the last round, Nick signed 2 clients by week 8, and she started off without a business. So 8 weeks later, this is all possible. This is on the sales page, literally like everything that we work through week 1 to 10. It is an intensive group program. You also get full access to my Elevate membership for 3 months. And in there, you get 3 extra live calls a month. You get monthly challenges. You get the Elevate Business Academy, which has got over 100 trainings and resources. And you get the Telegram group chat. It's amazing. We had a call this morning. But basically, She's in Business, this 10-week group program includes everything that you need to build and grow your business, because it was everything that I needed. And that is why I created this with so much love and care. You get your week, and it's all worth. So you get your weekly call, your one-to-one session, work reviews, access to templates and training portal, the Elevate membership, strategy calls. There is so much in here, and it is all worth in total the value £7,890. And for you guys today and for 48 hours, you can join and save over £6,000. So it's 1,650 to pay in full, and there's a monthly payment plan extended for 8 months as well. But it gets even better than that, because I got so excited creating this training. I am adding an extra bonus for the next 48 hours. So yes, it's 1,650 and you get everything that I've talked about. But in the next 48 hours, if you sign up, you get a one-to-one clarity call with me before we get started, so we can really start honing in on your foundations. You then get another one-to-one call with me on top of the one that's already included in the program to use any time within the 10 weeks. So it could be when you're launching, that's going to be a really good time to use it. And you also get a 6-month subscription to Elevate membership and the training academy portal that goes with it. So it's over £2,000 of bonuses on top of that if you sign up within 48 hours. And if you're like, yes, Paula, I so want this, and I already know I want this, then I'm also adding an on the day bonus. If you go on to sign up before the end of today, like by midnight tonight, on top of everything that I've talked about, you will receive an extra one-to-one call, which means you would have 3 one-to-one calls and a starter clarity call throughout 10 weeks, plus all the trainings, and an extra £150 discount. So that means the total of the offer is £1,500 instead of £2,000 if you sign up by the end of today. So I have given so many bonuses in there, and I would love to see as many of you as possible that are interested. What I want you to do is just reach out to me after the call on Instagram, and we can have a chat, or we can book a call if that works better for you. But I'm so excited. I've absolutely loved this training. Do you all have any questions that you would like? Because you can unmute yourself. I'm going to stop sharing. Any questions? I know a couple of people have left before the end. No? No? Okay. Absolutely brilliant. Thank you all for coming. I absolutely loved that. The replay will come out later today, and the downloadable of the ABC framework as well, my lovelies. Okay. All right. Speak to you later. Bye.